Current strategic priorities include infrastructure reliability, visibility, walkability, and connectivity, stewardship of parks and community assets, and strengthening downtown vitality. Departmental operations and capital planning are being aligned with the city's adopted strategic plan and long-term infrastructure priorities. So first, it's going to be infrastructure and capital improvements. FY 26-27 will begin with more than $12 million in major infrastructure improvements, including and the associated force rating. Lift station number 4 improvements on Water Street are anticipated during the following fiscal year. Engineering and design work has already commenced, and with potential construction beginning as early as fall 2026. The more likely construction start time is going to be the spring of 27 for the major road projects. Proceeds will be funded through a combination of general obligation bond proceeds, tax revenue, and water and sewer fund participation. The city aggressively pursued outside funding, including economic development administration grants and congressional directed funding spending requests at the state and federal level. Financial planning assumes projects will proceed regardless of grant award outcomes, which may require a phased completion of portions of Livingston Street into 27-28. The city was awarded a Michigan pre-development accelerator grant valued at up to $50,000 to assist with engineering, planning, and pre-development activities associated with the federal grant competitiveness and capital improvement planning. So do any of those sentences bring up questions or comments, discussion points? Yes.
Just going forward.
Speak into the mic.
Going forward, if we can have a reminder of the other streets that need to be done, because I know you're targeting things that need it the most. But
Yeah.
driving around town, there's some that are awful bumpy.
You can throw a dart at a chart of Whitehall and find a road that needs to be fixed. So,
But can be prioritized.
so the priority, when I was reprioritizing, so we do have a capital improvement plan that I adjusted the order on. I found failed via the PACER rating. The PACER rating is what all roads are judged on in Michigan. Failed, and then the most amount of lead service lines that need to be replaced. So Muskegon and Livingston, they fit the bill on both of those. Lake Street, while there aren't a lot of drinking water associated with that lift station is well past its service life. I think it's 25 years and it's 36 years old. So yeah. I can republish the
That'd be good, yeah. I don't disagree with your priorities here, but I'd like to know going forward, what's the priority for the other streets?
yeah, absolutely. No problem.
Who does that PACER rating?
Brian Newhoff did it this year for us. Do you know Don?
Windsor Dick usually does it.
Yeah, and yeah, most of ours are failed or poor, which did make a good point for when I was requesting congressionally directed spending. I was able to use both of those visuals over lead service lines and the PACER rating to make my case. I requested $3 million from the federal government for that, and I know of one elected official that's moving forward in the process. So, Senator Slotkin. So it's not promised, but it's better than saying no. Okay, and as far as Livingston goes, Livingston, what was passed on to me as far as estimate of how much each road was going to cost was probably true at the time, but is about double of what was in the capital improvement plan. I think They had that like $3 million and it's looking more like $5 million. So, is what it is.
That's full. It's water, sewer, the whole, that's a total rebuild then.
Correct. Yeah, so Muskegon and Livingston are full rebuilds with water and sewer, where, like, that part of Lake Street that we just did, that was $120,000. So when people are wondering why we did this street and not that street, that's part of the reason. That was 120, that's like a rounding error with the other, compared to the other projects.
Yeah.
And Industrial Park was like 340, I want to say. And then the whole North End neighborhood is 1.1 million. That's the other major road project that'll happen this season. It's actually gonna happen in June. They might start Lake Street in Muskegon, but again, I'm waiting to hear on EDA grant for the Lake Street project. Yeah, so Livingston, we're gonna start with Livingston North, so we can do Muskegon to Livingston North at the same time. And then afterward will be Livingston South. And that's just as, we might need to spread it out for funding. So it is what it is. And I'm applying for every grant that's available.
Dan, with respect to the bond, how does that work? Did we just get a boatload of cash? Or
We did.
Just do it as you need it?
No, we got a boatload of cash. It's sitting in its own account, and a lot of these projects are gonna require combining different money. Crystal has a really good handle on how and make sure it's auditable, that every auditor can see cleanly where money went. And that's obviously very important.
And even though that boatload of money is sitting there, doesn't mean you can just go off and do every single road, because scheduling and all of that, right?
Scheduling,
Availability of people
and if I were to use it all on one project, we wouldn't be able to do other projects. So, like the Lake Street project with the road, force main, and lift station, that's $2.5 million. And then add Warner Street on that. Actually, the Economic Development Agency asked me to make the project bigger. That's why we added the Warner Street lift station. So all in all, that's a $4 million project that I'll know in August if we're gonna get this grant or not. I think it's worth waiting a season or two for $2.5 million. It's 60% of the total cost.
Which can use that money to use somewhere else.
Yes, exactly. So that bond money is like, it's exactly what I'm trying to do.
Absolutely.
Stretch out as long as I can.
Yep.
Thanks.
Okay, road and neighborhood improvements during this year, northern portion of Lake Street and Industrial Park roadways were resurfaced. North End neighborhood roads are scheduled to be crushed, shaped, and resurfaced prior to the fiscal year closeout. Street improvements will continue to remain one of the city's highest operational and community priorities. Okay, parks, rec, and public spaces. The city will place increased emphasis on parks, recreation programming, waterfront activation, and community gathering spaces. The Playhouse Managing Director positioning is transitioning into a broader Parks and Rec director role to coordinate programming, scheduling, facility utilization, and public event management citywide. Staff submitted an application for a Michigan DNR Recreation Passport Grant that could fund approximately $200,000 in park improvements with an estimated $50,000 local match. The match was authorized by resolution, but is not reflected in this budget until it's awarded. So I think that's just an amendment. I don't want to count on grants if we don't have a letter saying we get it. Completion of the West Colby Promenade will improve downtown walkability, waterfront access, and public gathering opportunities. The West Colby Promenade is envisioned as a flexible public space capable of supporting concerts, markets, festivals, sunset viewing, and other community events. The project is being funded through TIPA revenues, general obligation bond proceeds, and a state of Michigan RAP grant valued at $247,500. So the major shift here is the second bullet. We talked about, making the community, offering events and having a new set of eyes on our parks, and that's why I want to expand Beth's role. And we've talked about it since November to see where this could fit in and how it could work, and I'm comfortable with it, along with if there are any entities that want to rent or have different events downtown, I want a person to do that. And along with her creativity with signs and just making things better, I think she's the right person. Rather than create a new role, I look to expand, because it's a lot cheaper to give one person a raise and expand their duties rather than hire a whole new person. So, questions on parks?
I have a problem with expanding, not that anything about Beth, but just that role. During all the Playhouse meetings that we had last spring and summer, the position of Playhouse Managing Director was already way stressed out to begin with. And unavailable time and everything else, and now you want to add more to her job. I just don't see it. I mean, throwing more money at it doesn't
Well,
make it work. She already said she was overworked at the job that she had, and now you want to add more responsibility to it. I have a big problem with that.
we're all adults. I asked her opinion beforehand, and if she said, no, I'm overwhelmed, that'd be different. But I think we've got a good working relationship where I'll know.
This, it does answer a question I've had since, since the promenade was approved with the stage and all that, because it was never defined what was gonna happen there and when and who and all of that stuff. So it seemed like we did need somebody or some way of organizing it. So I think I could see the value in having somebody to schedule stuff.
Yeah, and frankly, we need a transition plan for the playoffs. And at some point, she's gonna need a replacement, and it's not someone we can just plop in for the role. So I'm gonna be more involved in the playoffs as well. So we're gonna find the right balance.
I mean, the other thing we could look at is, I don't know if that's interns. I mean,
We have some interns in the summertime,
which
are great.
that would be our busiest season now, like you said, with the stuff down there and everything
Yep.
else. An intern might be able to help you out as far as,
Mhm.
like you said, at least a point person,
Yep.
and kind of what we do when we add marina people and everything else for summer. That's going to be our busiest time.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, my support of this has been rather obvious because I brought it up on a couple of occasions that we need to look at all of the parks, including the Playhouse, and have it organized so that there's not people tripping over each other and everything that's going on, and there's single communication on it. I think it's a great idea. Beth says, well, we can do this because I can then have people do X, Y, and Z if you've taken this off my plate, and then I'll add these things. So it's that promenade with the stage, the Goodrich, when you talked about the grant to have the pavilion redone, somebody's going to need to be organizing who's where, when, and why.
Yeah,
So
she's about 9 out of 10 in grant writing, so that's what I really think we need from parks.
Question for you, so just to be clear, DPW is still gonna be doing all of the maintenance and all that kind of stuff. Okay.
Right.
Okay, I still think it feels like a lot. Just, I hope that we could, I'm sure Beth is up for it, but I'm hoping that maybe in the next budget we could put an assistant, another one besides City of Beth. It just seems like a lot of work.
Cindy Beth's more of the youth theater, and less of an assistant, I'd say. As, you know, defined role. But yeah, I believe me, I wrestled this with myself, but what I don't want to do is hire a brand new person and then realize the role isn't full-time and then being wishy-washy with somebody's livelihood. I want to start defining the role. And I did involve that, not something I clocked on. You know.
And like you said, we can try it for a year. If it doesn't work, we've got other options. I mean, it's not like it's just locked in stone and never can change. So, I mean, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Just like a lot of other stuff in the world, and we'll come up with a plan and make it work. So,
Yeah.
I don't mind getting rid of Sean. I just think, you know, as someone who has, sometimes worked in a full-time position with no assistant, I would have liked an assistant, and given what Beth has got on there, so,
That's the goal,
Yeah.
honestly, is to
okay.
get an assistant. And even right now, we're still piloting a program where a whole employee left, and we've never hired anyone in return. I expanded the role of the other two, and I'd say we haven't missed a beat. If anything, we're more efficient.
So we got money to hire an assistant.
I want to get the black first.
Thanks, Daniel.
Okay, public work operations, we'll go through the budget more specifically, but these are the broad brush strokes, I think. The Department of Public Works has expanded its focus toward proactive community improvement efforts, including alley clearings, citywide junk pickup, and increased sidewalk snow removal operations. These initiatives improve quality of life, accessibility, and neighborhood appearance, but also increase operational costs associated with labor, disposal, equipment usage, overtime, and maintenance. The FY26 budget, or unbudgeted expense to produce or purchase a leaf vac truck for 286 was made. Staff, I hope, has requested capture of 17 mills to continue to improve local streets and provide services to residents. The current allowable capture is up to 18.75 mils. So we're still well below what we're authorized to capture. I am requesting to capture 17 mils.
where we at
What
now?
are we capturing now, 15.7?
1577.
Since we changed the road thing, I mean, that's been
Well,
20 years.
something
a
that
long time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
more.
It's been, yeah.
Well, something Crystal discovered, we're barely making enough money for local roads for regular maintenance. That account loses money. We're not even capturing enough to maintain the roads we have, let alone a capital improvement project. That's why I think going from 1577 to 17 is necessary.
And like Scott said, I mean, it's been
It's been over 20 years.
forever.
And our roads have suffered.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially when we could have been collecting more all along.
You can go up to 1875, and I don't think that's right to do to people, spring that on them. That's why I just thought a modest increase at 17.
We went up from 12 to 15 to address the roads, and we were on
That was
that was
15 years ago, 12 years ago, somewhere in there, a long time, because that was Martin Smitty, so.
Yeah. It was probably close to maybe 14.
Yeah, it's been a long.
2014.
I mean, so quite honestly, we've been very, very good stewards with this as far as I'm concerned. I mean, a 1.3, 1.23, my white hall man.
Do we know the average increase that would be?
I can give it to you before the
That'd be
next
helpful,
meeting.
yeah.
My guesstimate is 375 a year.
$2?
No, 375.
Oh, additional?
Because it was 1.23, which just say 1.25. Average house is, let's just say 300,000. 275. Right? Public math's hard. Okay, move on to the police department. The Whitehall School District will increase their financial support for the school resource officer program by approximately 66% next year. That's one of the resolutions we have for tonight's meeting. So they're gonna go from like 32,000 to over 50,000.
Wow.
Planned equipment purchases include radar units. The ones that we currently have are pretty old. Protective vests. Again, they're getting toward their expiration and replacement of the department's 20-year-old admin vehicle. A new patrol cruiser was evaluated but deferred until the following fiscal year. So that's one item that I think is worth a discussion. So currently we overpay on our MERS contributions for retirement. The police department portion is approximately $100,000. They're overpaying. We'll know in June where we're at. I'm almost 100% certain that we're going to be over that 100% that for retirement funding. So we'll be able to drop how much we're contributing, and I'd like to consider another cruiser this year if that amount drops. Again, that could either be later in June or an amendment later. I want to start that conversation now. The one that Kayla drives for the school is really, really old. I mean, it would just, I think it's Newmandoors.
Yes, yep. 2018.
2018, it would go to the school resource officer and you would divest from the admin vehicle and old cruiser.
On that subject, if you're, whenever we do replace the cruiser, are we gonna be looking at all at another electronic type one, or are we gonna go back to traditional gas? Or has there been any issues with the one that's electric?
We've had some issues with the hybrid. My preference and my command staff preference would be go back to a full gas one at this point. I think in the near future that could be advantageous, but we've had some transmission issues. We've had some other issues that are related to that hybrid configuration.
And there's been some stuff affecting that, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like response.
I'm just not, I've never been totally sold on that technology yet. I'm not saying that it's
close.
It's
close.
getting better every year, but I still don't think it's all the way there yet.
Yeah, we had 2 emergency response calls recently where it shut off. We were on the way to emergency response calls and it would not operate. We had to pull the shoulder and shut it off. So, we think we have that situation remedied through a software update, but again, that's not something we want to deal with.
Did we buy, last year when we bought a cruiser, was that a traditional or was that a
Traditional.
hybrid?
Traditional.
One thing to keep in mind is a study just came out saying that EVs have less than gas. I'll send it to you.
But,
And a lot of it,
go ahead.
a lot of it relates to the specific vehicle. Scott, I haven't put gas in my car since the first week of February. I have a hybrid. It's a whole lot cheaper.
But for the public, I mean, for you and me driving, that's one thing, but emergency response and stuff ain't working,
I have
that's a huge liability on our part too
Yeah.
if something happens.
Yeah, but what I said is the study shows that they have less problems.
Yep.
I have no problem. People don't realize how fast they are too. I won't say how fast they.
Oh, electric motor always outtorques
I
the
know,
gas motor.
they can go from 0 to 60. I'm like, whoa.
All right, Speedy.
Yes.
You know where she
Watch out for
lives.
her.
I always do the speed limit.
New kidney program. It's actually not reflecting.
So I'm assuming no grants on the vests anymore?
Um,
Initially just, I know it's.
There is, but it's not open yet. It's still, I'm still pursuing that. So, yeah.
So actually, I think that's a good point to make. Nothing in our budget counts grants that we're still going after. And for budgeting purposes, every employee is at their max scale. So we're budgeting as if a person, like to say DPW worker,
Is on level 8 of 8.
but they're not. So we're off, that gives us our cushion, and that's in.
They're gonna be at level 8 someday, but yeah, that makes sense.
And that's for every employee. Treasurer's office is emphasizing increased transparency and long-term financial planning within the budget process. Departments are now budgeting salary lines using maximum contractual pay scales rather than current individual employee wages. This methodology provides a more conservative and realistic projection of future staffing obligations and succession planning costs. Assessor tax-based growth. The city's taxable value is projected to increase from approximately 160 million to 169 million. The estimate is intentionally conservative and reflects continued residential, commercial, and industrial investment. Approximately 97 million in taxable value remains subject to tax abatement programs supporting economic development and long-term tax-based growth. So the first one to drop off is one of the Howmet expansions, that's like $5 million. And then the Tannery Bay houses, as they come online, we didn't capture that here. So when they start actually paying taxes, I'll talk about the new one. They all pay taxes, but the new ones, when they come online, those are just added revenue that we haven't really accounted for yet. Everything in this budget is conservative.
The,
Do you care?
the Duke Care, that's gonna be paid off in September or thereabouts of
No,
next year?
Next year.
Yeah.
So this year we're paying $1 million, next year we'll pay $1 million, then it drops to like 600,000. And then the year after that is kind of the year. But it's a huge drop off. Last year we collected, I think, 1.2 something. This year is gonna be more than that because some more houses came online and property values go up. So we're still making money off of the Tannery Bay, even with the Duke Care responsibility. Okay, legal and attorney services. FY 25-26 experienced increased legal service demand associated with litigation, inspection disputes, real estate matters, contractual issues, and criminal prosecutions. So what was budgeted for and what we've actually spent are wildly different for this year. Hopefully we can calm that down going forward, but it's all out of necessity. Operational changes include a new local ticketing policy, increased staff training, and improved communication with business owners are intended to reduce future legal expenditures and improve consistency. So I think all of those are important. We're not necessarily going to court for local tickets anymore, for the most part. And just our inspectors on how we communicate with business owners can keep a lot of stuff out of this issue. That's it. That's good. All right, City Hall facilities. Funds have been allocated to begin implementing recommendations identified through the City Hall energy audit. The FY 26-27 budget includes replacement of the building's air conditioning unit and software replacement to better seal the building envelope and improve the efficiency. And it looks terrible.
Scott, when you're looking at that, are you looking at just replacing Scott?
Dan.
Where did that
Turn your name tag.
It's okay, Mike's in the front.
That's weird. It just was hanging around in my.
Yep.
9 months. 9 months of my life.
That's okay, she wasn't speaking into her mic. So
What can I help you with, Daniel?
I'm hoping that we can have more of a plan going forward beyond this, a plan for those, like the short term, we never really had an implementation plan for those to see what is gonna work and if it is gonna work, when it's gonna work.
So, I didn't mention it here, but we're doing something at the DPW as well. It's simple as putting in ceiling fans in the main area. It's simple things like that. I look through the list of recommendations, and I look for what's feasible and what just our general needs anyway. So feasibility is really the main thing. Like, is it feasible to do this? Yes, it's feasible to fix this soffit and replace an air conditioner and add some fans into the DPW.
Are you guys forced air out?
We're talking in the shop.
I'd
Forced
just
air out
like
there,
to
though?
see
Yeah, yeah, there's unit heaters
I
out
know
there.
you're doing a good job with it, Dan, but I mean, we got 3 buildings, we've got measures, and it's a couple of years old already. I'd just like to see us look at all of it and say, these don't make sense, these look like, in the short term, these look like farther out, so we at least have something in mind for grants.
Okay.
I have been asking for that with this work. Not you, though.
I just do it. I don't just make plans.
Not you, Scott.
Okay, planning and development. Planning efforts will focus on implementation of the strategic plan, future master plan updates, infrastructure coordination, redevelopment opportunities, housing, and waterfront planning. The city continues exploring redevelopment and housing opportunities to produce more inventory, including facilitating house rehab project on Division. Also, we're exploring ways to partner with Whitehall School District to develop some of their properties with building trade student involvement. So that last one, over by Shoreline Elementary, the school owns like a little over 5 acres. And on May 21st, I'm going to Developmental Day with GMed. They're having just a bunch of different developers in to kind of tour Muskegon County and figure out where they can possibly make housing developments. And with CJ Van Weeren, he wants to use the property to build houses, but he wants building trades involved. And I think it could be a great opportunity for a developer and building trades to get real world experience. So more to come on that.
Essentially what they're doing is this, right?
Yes.
I heard about that, but it sounds really good.
Is the house on Division after the old one comes down and the new one goes up, is it gonna be a stick-built house? I heard it was gonna be a double one.
Building trade.
There's,
The school's building.
I think a double wide versus modular are two wildly different things. There's modular trailers, and then there's factory built houses where they'll assemble a lot of the stuff just to keep it out of the elements at a factory, bring it in and put up a house. I live in a modular house that you couldn't tell.
Now it's on the bottom of the Benston Road Hill on the left-hand side as you're heading toward Whitehall Road they brought it in, it's 2-story, and it's the same thing what you're talking about.
Gundy's house was modular.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
No.
it's not good. We haven't got a site plan or anything yet, but it's not going to be.
I'm just.
Yeah, sure.
I just wonder, sometimes you hear stuff and some of it's true, sometimes you hear stuff and a lot of it isn't, so.
That's literally the only reason I started a Facebook account. I'm not kidding. I'm friends with nobody that I know from home. I'm just for Whitehall. Okay, walkability and connectivity. The city will continue improving sidewalks, pathways, ADA accessibility, pedestrian safety, and non-motorized connectivity between neighborhoods, downtown parks, schools, and waterfront areas. Infrastructure projects will continue integrating walkability and connectivity improvements whenever practical.
I've got a question, in that, probably that spot.
Yep.
The Livingston Hill, or the, down to the gully and the other one, they're all blown out in the last, is that something that's gonna get worked on?
So, a little bit ago, I submitted, Muskegon County did a really good job of setting up an emergency operations center during all the flooding. I really got a hand to them. They did a good job. And they're consolidating reimbursements for storm costs. So we calculated how many hours, equipment, and material we needed to respond. Our part was between 15 and 20 grand. And then additional damage, I put that pedestrian bridge, I guesstimated how much I think it would be, so maybe, if not, there's also additional FEMA money that could be used for that. And we talked about it before, and the Safe Routes to School program, that's gonna kick off once the fiscal year starts too, and part of that program would be identify funding sources for things like that. Just everything takes so long.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, utility rates, staff recommends moderate increases for both water and sewer at 2%. It's arbitrary, but I don't want to do 10% in a few years. So, small incremental is below the inflation rate. Staffing, union and non-union employees are scheduled for a 2.7% cost of living increase going forward. Cost of living increases will be determined using the Michigan inflation rate multiplier. Previous to this, the staff was using a Detroit-centric mechanism. I think the Michigan one is just more accurate for us. Okay, that's my 10,000-foot view.
So are we gonna go through this one category at a time, one tab at a time? Just ask for questions, or?
I think that's fine, how you guys want to run it. There is a, if you look on the very first page, the 101, very first page, go down to grant, and then, I'm sorry, funds. You go all the way to the right to 23, 24. That has to be a fat finger. We go from 9,000 to 79,000, exactly 8,000, so.
That was before my time.
Blame someone who's not here.
Oh, wow.
So the actual.
That cannot be true.
No,
Yeah, we get a lot
that
of.
cannot be accurate.
Thank Roger for pointing it out.
Eagle eye.
So it probably should be 7,900 something.
Probably.
Hold it down.
But we'll probably never figure out how it got that way.
Oh, man. Yeah. Look. We'll see.
Okay, where we at? 101. We'll discuss exchanges with real and personal property tax. Why?
We're talking as in just the
Yeah.
accounting.
So the very top of the sheet, current real property taxes, you'll see it looks like it jumps 400,000, but in reality, we're just combining personal property tax and real property taxes for accounting. You see the next line, there normally would be a significant amount, like 200,000 for last year, and it's just zero now. It's not a huge issue, it just Crystal's owning this budget, so she's organizing it to way that
There's
More
no
pressure.
significant reason to separate, report them separate. There's no significance to that
Going her way, the way she likes to do
whatsoever.
The way we answer her questions, you know. the
Yeah.
answer.
it.
Exactly.
Makes sense to her, makes sense to the rest of us.
I have a question on page 2, if I can. Under sidewalks, I don't remember if it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago, we committed to doing all the sidewalks in the town. And we were gonna do that with marijuana money, if you guys remember. I don't know what happened with that commitment, but, is there something we can do to get all of the sidewalks taken care of?
We did $100,000, almost $100,000 for the sidewalk.
Yeah, so 23, 24, 24, 25, there's almost 190,000 dedicated to sidewalks. Last year's 20, this year we just did 20 plus inflation. That same amount plus inflation.
So we'll do $20,000 more sidewalks.
I don't know, I don't walk very much. If they bad shape.
Some of them are.
Bumpy, like if they're, you know, accessibility for a wheelchair or.
Some of the ones that are ground, did we do that, or
Yeah.
property owners do that?
We do it.
We do it?
Yep.
I mean, on some of the smaller ones, it really helps. But, I mean, there some of them that are like 6 inches off or whatever.
We'll usually pull pieces and parts if we can and just replace a couple of sections.
It's gonna be cutting tree roots out, and,
Oh,
you
absolutely.
know, and then eventually the tree's probably gonna die, but.
Yep.
I guess I don't understand how, was our estimate that far off a couple of years ago? And how many sidewalks needed to be replaced and so on? It's like, I mean, you weren't here, it's not your fault.
I think we just.
Geez, Steve.
I think we committed to marijuana.
That's good.
No, I don't recall. Yeah, I don't recall that at all. But, I mean, what's 20,000 get us? I mean,
It's not much.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing it probably wasn't enough to cover all of it.
It's not much. I mean,
Is it a block, 2 blocks roughly of complete replacement, or?
20 grand? It may get us a block.
I think it's a block.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta do it by well, I mean, I know, where we at? Just over here, we took, the sidewalk was so bad on one side, we just took it out.
We removed it, yep.
And put it back in grass, and then redid the one on the other side of the road.
Yes.
And that was the grand share, 80 grand, wasn't it?
We did quite a few blocks actually down Livingston, and there was some other hit and miss spots that we did throughout town to spend that money, but it doesn't go far. The cost of concrete right now is about $220 a yard. When you start adding that up, it is ridiculously expensive to replace sidewalk. So,
Couple yards to a section.
yeah, for like a 5 foot wide by 5 by 5 piece, you're looking a yard and a half or so for that, just a little bit.
Don and I can do an assessment and see how much that needs to be off.
I mean, it might be that just wherever we came up with the estimate of what needed to be done was that far off. But, okay.
That's the first section. We're not gonna go through the whole thing. I have something, where they have it
Get the road.
at. I got it. Page 12. City Hall Building Grounds Insurance. Went from 7,400 to 11,000. And I think in the same section, the insurance increased for the police department. I'm not sure if that was for vehicles or, that's the only thing I could think of that it would be for. Went from 22,000 to 32,500.
Yep, so our insurance rate went up like 55% overall.
Is there a reasoning that we've been given for that?
I looked at the claims, and frankly, if I was an insurance company, I would go the same thing. Because we've had frivolous lawsuits, we've had a ton of one DPW worker getting a bunch of accidents, and just a slew of claims that have killed us. For next year, I'm gonna look, there's two main carriers from Michigan. It's Michigan Municipal Risk Authority and MML. So we're gonna look at MML and compare. But it was kind of late in the game they gave us the quote and kind of the budget was due right around the same time. So for next year, we're gonna look at MML. There's pros and cons to each of them. I'm just hoping for a better rate. That 55% jump was a sticker shock.
I mean, it's not like it's hundreds of thousands of dollars, but I mean, it's just, it's something that stands out when it's that big of an increase that I just was interested in, why.
We were paying.
And I assumed why, but was it last year one of the patrol cars got totaled, or was it 2 years ago?
So they gave a 3-year rundown.
Yeah, so that was, 2 years ago.
2 years.
Yeah, the sheet that they used was 3-year average, I think.
No faults, we're stuck.
Has that truck accident lawsuit been settled, so it's likely to even get worse? Perhaps.
Well, that was factored in this last
Was it?
one.
Okay.
Because it's still ongoing. That one is going to be, if it's not mediated this summer, it's going to be like another year.
Okay.
It's just one of those long lawsuits. Yeah, that was, it went from 77,000 to about 120. Something like that.
Dan, does the sanitation number, is that covering our new junk pickup and those kinds of things that?
Where are we looking?
Back in the beginning, page 2, the sanitation. The details are equipment rental and contractual services, but just curious what that covers. Street cleaning. Actually, that number changed a little bit.
Does not allow me to bend.
It's 5.1.
Yeah.
From 6,200 to 13,800.
Yeah, the junk pickup, it was, I think it cost us 8,000.
Is that's where that would fit, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know we added some things, I just wasn't sure if that's where, and the street cleaning and those kinds of things, is that fit in your sanitation?
Everything except the junk pickup was, like, previous years, you had everything but the junk pickup. And we don't have any more payments on the leaf truck, so that's all done too. It's just the junk pickup for the most part. And then a new emphasis, it won't be in sanitation, but like a new emphasis on alleys. Like, I had to force a bunch of overtime back in September to get the alleys done. Cost you the business.
One thing I couldn't find in expenditures, this is a science guy, not a budget guy. We talked about having a specific amount to be able to give to people who request funds.
Right.
And I'm sure it's in there. I just was wondering.
The terrible, walk the beat.
Yeah, which one?
What page is that?
If it's there, cool. I need to, but
We've talked
Other, it's an other. It's an other.
so if it's other, that's cool.
Expenses.
I'm not holding myself
Other,
completely responsible for not finding it.
other.
What
Well, I just didn't, if that's it, that's cool.
25?
It was 45.
Yeah, that's,
Yes,
Okay, that's great.
yes.
It just,
so I think we had
I like other.
13,000 roughly that we know we're gonna be requested, and then we just use the one-offs as a estimate.
Completely fine, I just couldn't.
Parameter-wise though, for requesting that, yes, we still gotta hash that out.
It's not a ton of money, but on page 3, under the cable TV franchise fee, it went from 8,900 in 24-25 up to 40,000. Oh, that's
right.
wrong, excuse me, that's wrong. I was looking at it's 18,440. I guess,
No, that is a big jump.
Where are you looking?
101,477 under franchise fee cable.
some kind of a blip there, I guess, because in 2025, it was 42,200. And then it went to 18,000 for activity through this year. And then back to 40,000 in the budget.
We get another payment
I
in
should say
June.
that's income.
Oh, that's activity.
That's it, that's income, and that's activity to date, and we get another payment in June.
Yeah, so that
So
second,
it's not done.
yeah, that middle column there
Got it, yep.
is, as it stands, the date is printed.
Like that figured out.
Well, has to have-
Charter or whatever. Or it's either.
Yeah, that through 6:30 is correct. To today.
Okay.
Okay, major streets, I guess we'll just move on to if nobody has any other one-on-one questions. Sorry, cemetery first. Then we got major streets. For cemetery, like, this is pretty untouchable money, but there are some major projects that have to be done there sooner rather than later. One of
See the big old tree.
our big old tree, and there's also a retaining wall that's listing. So,
The one out on the Colby's listing?
no, not that one, small.
The one up on top, the one up on top of the hill with the 1,800 graves on it?
Yeah, it's along the gully.
Yeah.
Like the head.
Little more of the building needing repaired there?
It just got a new roof in it.
The lower building, we put a new roof on the pole barn
That
on low.
was on this last year's budget?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
All right, major street fund. This is mostly just routine.
Can you explain what the difference is between major street fund and local street fund?
The spelling. Major is our, like, the main drives such as Livingston, Warner, Division, maybe Alice, and then the other crossroads that are just smaller. They're not funded by anything else. It's really, you could combine the two and I wouldn't notice how we work on it. It just, I think it's, Act 51 requires us to have separate categories. It doesn't mean a whole lot.
Is
You
it one
can-
where you can't spend the money from one on something on the other one?
Well, that's the thing. Previously, the local street fund would send money to the capital projects. That's what was kind of confusing. The money that was allocated to local streets would go to capital projects, which there could have been local streets in there, but I couldn't figure out why that happened. So again, I want to keep local streets like that account fully funded to the best of our ability, so that can actually be used for some of our really bad side streets. Like Wilshire is a good example of a local road where Warner would be a major outlet. So I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt you if I did.
No, you're good.
Don, you got a better explanation?
It's just the way they're classified through the state. Most of our roads, if you see a curb on them, that's gonna be a major street. That's not 100% the case, but if you see a curb and gutter, that's usually a major street. If you see a valley gutter or just no shoulder whatsoever, that's gonna be considered a local. With Warner being the difference, because that's all valley gutter, so. But it's just it's a road classification is all it is.
So you see, if this budget sticks, we're to the good 200 in this one, which I want to just keep that money there, keep it growing, and then when we do have a major road project, it can be used for that.
So if I put my own curbs on Seaton Avenue,
It's not
it would be a major road. Sorry. I know it's a road to nowhere. Again, I live there.
It's really gonna be now.
All right, same thing for local. We're just trying to keep the money what it says. And we're taking that tax capture, it's supposed to go to local roads. We're just gonna keep it there. And then while I'm expending all this bond money, these other accounts can get healthy and use them for projects after the bond money runs out. So salvage vehicle inspection. So if you look at like the, look at, it's page 36. Fernando is our inspector for this, and look at activity versus what we were budgeted for. So he's well over 200% for revenue gain on that particular fund. So he's doing a really good job with that.
Is that a lot of that, Brandon, the buggies?
What's that?
Is a lot of that the buggies from up north?
Some of it. He's expanded the area he's willing to go to, because Muskegon County really has, it's just him right now, and one other inspector, and so he's actually been doing some in some of those surrounding counties. So yeah, it's he's very diligent with it. He does a great job of not does it with.
In Brownfield, the fund's pretty solid. Investments are doing well, but we're lowballing yourself just to stay conservative for revenue and interest earnings.
Can I go back for a second
Yeah.
to the last one? Is there a reason why, what was the first part of section 5? The salvage vehicle and marijuana fund are,
Well, I forgot they were combined.
Yeah, it's
Not
just
combined.
tabs.
There's like tabs.
I mean, not that there's anything major in the marijuana fund one, but I didn't know if it was supposed to be a
Yeah,
tab of its own or.
We only have so many tabs.
Okay,
That's the reason.
that worked. Continue, sorry I interrupted.
It's fine. I missed it too. We're actually chasing them down because there wasn't permit fees, so. All right, Brownfield, again, conservative estimate on what we're going to capture versus what we're gonna spend. So that balance should stay pretty healthy. I get, page 42. In the amended budget, there's a $630,000 grant. That's not going to happen, I'm just saying this so all of you know. It was for a possibility of developing Forest Hills neighborhood. There's no way we're gonna do that. So, it's not like I'm ignoring the amended budget, I'm just, that's just not feasible. Okay, TIFA. It's self-explanatory, they're paying the lion's share of the bond. And then under contractual services, it's toward the bottom of page 46, marina dredging. That's more of a placeholder, not necessarily an expense, but I don't know how the water depth is right now at the marina. There's boats in there, nobody's complained, but it's just one of those things that I think is gonna be on the docket the next year or two, because Ellenwood they got dredged this year, and I just think we're in a similar downstream.
You mentioned that in the last meeting, we were gonna kind of keep a fund. So
Yeah, that's this 150.
They do get a little more silt from the watershed, it's their location.
I'd still like to see us look at that tube, put that tube back in and stop this problem, or at least slow it down. Putting that tube under the sidewalk there, just outside the building, there used to be a tube that was, so now they essentially made the marina dead end.
Yeah.
And you just
Clogged up there.
Yeah, so I mean, if you put a tube out to the lake, it flows, you get a better flow through there. And there was one initially when it was built, and I don't know why they shut it down and got rid of it, but
You know who closed it?
it was a long time ago. Where the building sits down there, you take that first tier, there used to be a tube right on the corner, under that concrete there. And when I think when they put those big rocks back in there, they did that. But if we're looking at a floating, that might solve that problem as well. So depending on what we're gonna kick around that, back when I was on the advisory, making some of those floating. But
Oh, yeah. And
I don't know if the flow through would be enough to do that with those. I don't know if we flow the tiers or just the docks. But that,
so expensive.
yeah, I know. But the tube probably would be, because we've got the thrusters down there and everything else, and it just still doesn't work. It's dead end in there, so. One of the other things on Marina, I'm not on advisory anymore, but it really would be nice if we would make that first tier on that left-hand side look a little nicer. I mean, you got a concrete, essentially frame, and it's full of junk. I mean, it looks horrible.
Talking the west pier.
The first pier closest to the lake, so
Okay.
yeah.
I think you're gonna see some big changes going on at the marina this year.
I love the rail, it's great. Other than there's a few chips in there, but him and I talked about fixing those.
He'll be there this week.
But that rail looks great. It turned out better than what I ever thought it would be, so. Yeah, but just some cleanup down there would be great, getting rid of some of the stuff that has grown up in between the rocks and everything else, just makes it look better.
So Monday is the first day that the marina employees are coming in. And we're doing kind of a soft start. I hired 4 employees and get their paperwork training done, and then they'll just go to work and we'll open up the marina slowly. So they have dry runs that are not being too busy before we want to begin. We will knock stuff out like that.
We'll be able to stay more on top of it this year too. It'll be a slow process.
Because I know there's a couple of busted lights down there, and some other things. Took a walk the other day, so. Still maybe here. Do you want requests when we hit these
That's fine, yeah.
special things? I would like to see in addition to adding a small amount to the TIPA budget, for Adirondack chairs, they're made by the same company that makes our tables, benches, waste cans, all that stuff downtown. I would like to see 6 to 8 going around the City of Whitehall logo down on North Mears, giving, again, people better places to sit and relax and visit and hang out, I guess would be the term. I looked at, they just came out with it, the company did. It'd be $12,960 for 8 of them. They're about 200 and some pounds a piece. They're constructed so nobody takes them and steals them, and not like the ones you get at Menards where you sit on them and they break. So these have warranties on them. They're made by the same company, like I said, that makes all the other stuff. So they're compatible. They look really good, and I would like to see that. If we could add that at all to the TIPA budget, I would like to see that. No. I got pictures for you.
I'll see you later.
All right.
Are they fastened to the concrete?
You can. They look like Dan's got one. He can pass it back to you. But, yeah, they're durable. I think they've got a 5 or a 10 year warranty. Really good. And you can fasten. So, like I said, you put 4 groups of 2 down there on that because it's essentially great. You guys built that down there, but you just walk around there's no place to sit around that seal in the middle there. It'd be a good spot for it. You know, maybe run down by car and stuff. I would like to see that added to that for this year. We don't have no seating over there.
Anything else? Yeah, not gonna be a whole lot of activity because they're paying for the bond.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I figured that was small enough, but.
Yeah.
You think they figured out yet, maybe even though I'm on it now, what, do you think they figured out yet that when you got them to approve that they were gonna be losing?
I present it every time.
Yeah, I mean, like 90% of their funding, you think they figured that out yet, or?
I think honestly that they just want to be right by the city. I really do. They're just happy because a lot of them live here too, or at least they operate here. Roads are bad, so that's the impression I got from you.
Yeah, because we want 10-year payback. In that bond of 10 years, so don't be a huge project for at least 10 years.
All right, inspection fees. You go to page 50. The amended budget has it at 100,000 revenue, and we're already at 132. So that's good. A lot of people doing business in Whitehall. That's how I read that.
Why did the inspection fees vary so much from one year to another? It goes from 99,000 and 23 to 103, so or 208 following year.
Just activity. A lot of it, like, you can probably time the 23-24 with how that inspection, like their expansion.
Yeah, that would be good.
Okay, LDFA. Not a whole lot of changes, except that 200,000 will be paid for the bond out of their revenue.
Is the sale, is the Erickson thing in here yet, their purchase?
So that was actually owned by the city, so it went into the general fund.
Okay.
Which that's all done over with. One of the things on today's agenda is that lot split in the industrial park, so I can finish the sale of that other property. LDFA, not a whole lot to report there one or the other. Okay, the 10th tab, capital projects. So roughly 5.3 million. So should be a busy year.
Good.
I don't really have anything else with that one. It just, you can see the actual breakdown of costs on page 58.
It'll be exciting to see some stuff done.
Yep. Wish we could get more done quicker, but that's what it is. All right, so the normal capital projects is 401. The next page, or page 59, that's the general obligation bond fund. So like I said, it's going to be kept separate, so we can just track the color of money it is. And we are allowed to make money off of it. It's just more paperwork if we are making more than the interest rate. So, with that, all right, nothing to add there. Move on to Playhouse.
My question on that is, on the donations, we've got a budget of 220,000 for this year. Is there, versus, 75 in 26? Is they gonna start some kind of, what's gonna cause that big of an increase?
Weren't they gonna start an endowment, a new endowment or something like that, I thought?
We haven't started it, and an endowment wouldn't take us to that. Is that a mistype?
It's almost triple what
Look
we've
at
got in 26.
63.
I'm sorry, where are you?
60, if you go to the next page. You can see which ones are donations. It's kind of add all.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head.
Well, if you look at the actual in 23-24, it's 161.6. You see that? Yeah, so I mean, yeah.
I don't have an answer for you.
Yeah, we'll table that until next meeting. That's what I'm saying.
But would, yeah, that's not the right number.
I know we combine certain, let's just table it until next time. I don't have the answer. All right, sewer.
Can we jump back? I think it's because it's including the capital campaign direct payments and pledge payments. And I don't know that we've always included that number there.
So, like, what I was trying to figure out was, we combined a lot of the, like, there's different donation types, like restricted, not restricted,
Okay.
sponsorships, and we just combined them into one. And one of those is the capital. It's 110,000, 111,000 each year we have to pay. So minus 111,000 from that, it'll be what, 109?
Okay.
And that's right where it's within reason of where we were previous years.
Yes.
It is important to keep the restricted and unrestricted separate.
Yes.
I mean, there's separate
Yeah.
line items.
Yeah.
It's like,
Much.
This is
it's like restricted for this show.
Yes.
It's,
Yeah.
use it for this show, even though we know we're gonna use 100% of it. It's supposed to be dedicated to a particular show.
If you look at page 63, there are the individual line items that do add up to that 220. But if you look at that, you can see that the capital campaign direct payments, you're talking 50,000, money from the community fund for the same 60,000. So that does, that's where you see that breakdown of the restricted and unrestricted funds. But that first page on 62 is just an overall summary, the 20,000-foot view as opposed to the details. Just another page.
So if you
Thank
look
you.
at
I was like, damn, I've never read so much.
674, everything that's 580, 000, 674, add those all up. Those used to be individual line items on previous budgets, now they're combined, just for that summary page.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, I just want to point out the clock. We got about 8 minutes left. We got to have public comment.
Sewer fund, great.
Much-
Water and sewer we're gonna tap into it a little bit for capital projects to the tune of about 1.2 million combined. But it's cost doing business, we need to make capital upgrades.
Inlet lines and all that.
Yep. Marina fund, pretty excited about the marina. We can actually talk about that at the regular meeting.
Okay.
Yay.
Hey, motor pool, yeah.
Motor fuel, yeah, fuel, and just normal operating.
Public comment. Anybody wish to speak?
Well done.
Okay.
It's too funny.
My name's Bert Harper, Lake Township. Lived in the city for about 10 years, but I've never lived more than 10 miles from Whitehall, so this is my home. I wanted to talk for a minute about the Liberty Swing down Village Park. I don't know how many of you are aware of it, the history of it. Special importance to me, it was my son's Eagle Scout project. Took him 4 years, and he did it not just for his brother who's disabled, but for the community at large. He was a member of a scout troop in North Muskegon. He could have put it anywhere he wanted, but he chose to put it in Whitehall with the city's permission, of course, and because this is our home. It's been, my personal opinion, it's been neglected and kind of allowed to just kind of wither away in the 14, 15 years that it's been installed. He raised $25,000 over this time period. Massive project. He was one of the top 4 Eagle Scout projects in the nation in the year that he did it. So if you're familiar with scouting and the Eagle Scout project, it was a big deal. It breaks my heart to see how it's kind of gone under disrepair, and it just kind of seems like it's been forgotten. We've had several times with our church group and stuff, we've gone down and done plantings and gardening and pulled weeds and everything ourselves. I know he did leave a budget, I think it was a small amount, like $500, to keep the signs and whatnot maintained, because there are potential liability issues with it. It is a heavy object, it swings back and forth. It's got a fence around it. The fence is in disrepair, the latch doesn't properly work. There is a key mechanism that you have to unlock the pivoting part, the pendulum part that you actually sit in. And it's not just for disabled people. Anybody here can use that swing. It's got a seat that you can sit in. Anybody who enjoys swinging, elderly or whatever, that can't fit in a regular swing or doesn't work for them, they can use that as well. So you don't have to have a wheelchair to use the swing. But the key mechanism has never worked properly. You have to wiggle and jiggle and know the correct combination of turning and jiggling and that to get it to work. Or you have to have a screwdriver to reach in and pop the mechanism over, and I'm sure not many people know how to do that. At the time, we donated 30 keys to various individuals, local homes, things like that, that we knew would have access and ability to use it and the desire to use. So we left a key at the marina, one here at City Hall, and one at the former Big John's when they were down there. At this point, I don't know, I never seen anybody using the boat like that. And I think it's something that could be really better utilized. But I think people coming down possibly have tried to use it. It doesn't work, unless you know the proper sequence and have the ability and knowledge of how to get this thing to go. And I just think that we need to maybe look at that again. Also, there are some structural problems. The metal posts that are anchored in concrete, they're buried underneath a rubber surfacing. If you look at those on the side towards the new residential development there, I forget the name, Hardwood Flats, on that side, they're actually cracked. The metal posts are like a 3 or 4 inch diameter posts that go into the concrete. There's cracks in those. I think we really need to address that. Probably just some simple welding and you can fix that up, but I would like to see something done so that it's more operable. Get the gate fixed if that's possible, and just maybe make this more of a focal point in the community. As far as there's a lot of people that have disabilities, and there are not very many of these types of swings anyway. And I just think it's kind of underused.
Thanks, Lance, I let you go a little bit long.
Okay.
We need to get moving because we got about 3 or 4 minutes before the next meeting starts. Lance and I have talked several times about this, and I need a conversation because I don't really know what to do with it either.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well,
thank you.
Yep.
And we'll adjourn this meeting for a very short time. 6:02. Start the meeting, pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have some stragglers still coming in, but we're going to start on the approval of the agenda. I need a motion for that.
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second with an amendment. Well, I would like to make an amendment to the agenda. Add park enhancement to number 7, the last bullet point, because we didn't get to it.
Can you do that? Doesn't he have to make the amendment? Just,
Maybe you want me to second that one and then
I don't know. I'm asking.
I can do whatever he wants me to.
You guys do what you want.
I think that's appropriate.
I'll second Roger's motion. So what you want?
Don't ask me, I just ask.
So we had the motion and then a second. We made the amendment.
I wanna make an amendment.
For,
You want me to make the amendment now, or you want to make it?
it's been seconded, and then I would propose it better.
All right. I propose amendment to add park enhancement to, bullet point number, 5. Under 7. We missed it on the, it didn't make it under the budget work session, it's something we need to discuss and, discussed and.
Okay, do we need to vote to approve the agenda? I mean, the amendment?
Yeah, we need a second for that.
I second the amendment to the agenda.
Are we, any discussion or questions on the amendment to the agenda? If not, everybody that's in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Yeah. Well, we'll switch it back to yes. Okay, then I think we need to vote on the agenda also.
Correct.
And has that been seconded? I don't believe it has.
Yes.
And any discussion on that? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? All right. So we have an agenda with an amendment. Next up is the consent agenda.
I move for approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
Make one amendment. I was not at the meeting. John Schreier was at the meeting. It has to be.
Oh, sorry. It did. I'll make that change.
Picky, picky.
All right. With that change to the minutes, are there any other discussions or questions? Okay, then I guess the consent agenda is approved. Okay, all in favor of the consent agenda as it appears, say yes.
Yes.
And opposed? All right, that is passed. Next up is messages from the manager and mayor. Dan, do you want to start again?
Sure. Okay, I just, I have the Marina Advisory Committee notes, I think, printed to read a few of them. Marina Fund has $250,000 cash. We're using the new DACA app, we keep getting more and more reservations through it. Jayco Construction will be there next week, or this week and next, to do a lot of the repairs to the docks. We will have drinks-only vending, and which will provide another revenue stream. And I'm also researching a way to provide ice for marina guests. The board recommended that we join the America's Great Loop Cruisers Association, which is a great loop. It's like Caribbean all the way to Chicago, basically. Ron, right? Yeah. See, you said yes. It's just a group that, they take a long voyage, and if we're in their association, we become like a preferred port of call and bring more business our way.
And I know we've had loop people there, because I've talked to a couple of
Yeah,
times.
me too. They were like, wow, this is
Big
not.
boats.
They ended up here accidentally and they were really impressed.
Right, so get more of those folks in,
Absolutely.
using our businesses, so. And then, I previously stated in our first meeting, 4 marina employees have been hired for the upcoming season. Training and the first day will be May 18th. And I did submit through the county, request for reimbursement, for the storm damage, and it could cover our equipment use and, employee time, as well as materials we used. So we use a lot of gravel, asphalt, and sand to make repairs, so hopefully we get that reimbursed.
Mr. Mayor, if I- a couple things, how are we doing on seasons? Any increase, decrease, stay the same?
They're trickling in now. I think we have 35 rented, and we only went out 38. They're doing pretty good.
The other question is always, Whitehall, City of Whitehall ID shirts, collared shirts, whatever, for
Yeah.
down there to make them look good.
They'll, probably be the first week, but yes.
That's all I have.
I have one question on that. The vending machines, are they gonna be inside the building, only accessible by the marina people, or outside?
Negative, outside.
So
So,
anybody will be able to use them?
correct. I just need to make sure they're bracketed to the wall, so they're not tip hazard. And
End up in the ring.
Right. And I'm putting one at the Gooder facility as well.
Are these something that someone else owns and we're gonna receive
The-
something from it, or?
The only stipulation is I have to reorder stock from this company. But they put the machines there, we don't pay anything, no delivery fee or any of that. I just need to order from Reyes Coca-Cola bottle.
So we have to service them ourselves?
I will. It's cash. I prefer to do it just to get a sense of how much revenue is being taken in. So when I do pawn off to somebody else, I'll know if anything's being untruthful.
Do they have Wi-Fi with those two?
They have the availability for it.
I just wonder if you scan your card or whatever, because
We might have to pay for the scan, the card reader.
Because our machines down at the county have them built right in, just away you go. So I don't know if they've got those or not, but if they do, it might not be a bad idea to get.
Right, we have Wi-Fi already, so.
Yeah, so all you have to do is, you just gotta talk to them, so.
I want everyone to buy, so.
Absolutely.
I don't remember, did the board decide how long we're gonna stay open in the fall? Or we're gonna do 2 weeks like last year?
It's on worker availability,
Okay.
and I'm pretty certain a few of the people that I hired don't have to go back to school. At least 3 of them. And that's usually what it is. They go back to high school or college, they can work. 3 of the people I hired are in that situation.
Okay.
So we can stay open until it makes sense not to.
Great. Jeff, you wanna go first today?
Yeah, and I don't have anything.
Scott?
I'm trying to figure out how to say what I wanna say, Chloe.
Never stopped you before.
Yeah, I know. The controlled burn that the fire department did yesterday on Division Street. I'm all for them having all the training possible to them and available to them and everything else. I think, there needs to be better communication when they're gonna do something like that, rather than them just posting it on their Facebook page. I didn't even know they had a Facebook page, and, the only reason I knew it was even gonna happen was because somebody else told me it was gonna happen. because my son lives right next door to that house. He didn't know anything about it.
Is that we found out?
He found out when I told him. And I found out from Sandy Gibb on Sunday. So, and it happened yesterday. So I just think anybody that's in the affected area where they're gonna do something like that, they should at least go have the common sense to go knock on the doors and talk to the people. And I mean, you come home from work and you got, every fire apparatus the city has sitting in, your two roads. I mean, your heart kind of sinks a little bit if you don't know what's going on. I just think it could be communicated a lot better than it did.
It's valid.
That's all I have.
Right.
The first is, well, kind of personal for the city, but my thoughts go out to bond families. They're dealing with a lot of stuff right now. It's great to have Brendan back, running around, doing stuff. And a second thing, as I've been hanging around for a few months, I actually want to thank all of the volunteers on all of the committees that we have appointed that have taken their time, effort, and energy to really try to help Whitehall. I didn't realize how much time and what a lot of people have given, and as someone who took it for granted for a long time, I just want those people to know that I appreciate what they're doing for this city.
You speak into your microphone.
I think you forgot my name. Okay, couple of things. One, we need to schedule the dates for the senior dinners because we get 2 and then we get 3 because you said 4.
Yeah, definitely.
So we have 3 senior dinners to schedule, so I will get with, Christie, yeah, and see what date she thinks, and then I'll bring those back, so, and then hopefully we can kind of get that moving. They're good, they're for people who are over 60, and it's a free meal for the city of Whitehall.
So question on that, Tanya, is that something we wanna do in the same location every time, or do we wanna talk to other locations, like maybe Lebanon Church, and move them around a little bit, or we wanna always have them at the senior center?
You could do that if you want.
I'm just asking, so.
I think the committee, wanted some meals to get to one of the survey questions about, social isolation, and checked around. Somebody said they would do a meal for us in our garden room for $1,500. I'm like, no, and then when I called Christy, she's like, sure. And she does it in the kitchen there, and she's a very good cook.
Yeah, that little kitchen, she does really well.
Yeah, so I think we'd like to keep it there. I think the other reason too, Jeff, is to bring people to the senior center to know that it's someplace that they can.
I understand that, I just was curious.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying, and maybe we can do that later, but Christy said she would do it, she's happy to do it, and, so I'd like to.
Maybe it'll catch on, the churches will put one on or something,
Yeah.
because I know Lebanon, and I know the church, the Catholic Church in Montague, where they put the fish fry on, they have a huge kitchen, so I mean, maybe this will catch on, and they'll, you get one month somewhere or something.
It's not a bad idea. So we need to, I'll get dates from her. I wanted to mention that I've asked for a speaker at our June 9th work session, and I mentioned it before, Heather Stevenson from Mid-Michigan Community Action Agency. And she, through a project I'm working on, I encountered her, and there's a number of community action agencies throughout the state, and they help people pay their utility bills, their water bills. There's a program, I mean, it's all income based, but there's a program where you can get like maybe $500 for a home repair, which, we've been talking about that. So she's gonna come and present, and I'd like to, I said I would do a news release for the city if possible, if needed, but I'd like to invite people in to see this because this is a really good agency that I had never heard about before that serves our Muskegon area, and I would like to make sure people are aware of it. So I'm kind of excited about that. I wanted to mention that I really thought Dan had a good set of priorities. I like how you organize them. They're all things I care about, the connectivity, the parks, the streets, I just, very well done, thank you.
We did.
And last of all, the Liberty Swing, I totally agree with Lance. I was here, Jeff, were you here?
When we accepted it, yeah.
Yeah, when his son, and it was an amazing effort. And I don't really think we've been able to maintain it for quite a while, and I really think we need to put some attention to it. It was,
That lock, like Lance said, that lock has always been a problem since day one.
I've had a lot of comments about not being able to get a key to even use it. It's really a difficult thing to access, so
There
I'm
should
not
be-
sure.
Yeah, there
we
should be
need
a
to
different way to do
address
that.
that issue, yeah, and we can work with Lance, so.
Yeah, I exchanged information.
Oh, yeah.
That's very important to me personally, so I got it.
Well, yeah, and he raised a lot of money, it was a big deal, and it picked our, but I agree that even when I see it, I don't see it used that often. I think once we get it upgraded, I think we need to put it like on our website and make it more of a, promote it more to the public.
There's an organization called Mason's Promise Foundation, and their goal is to create all-inclusive places where it's not necessarily like this is for people who need, disability accessible. It's for everybody. So I think framing it like that will just get more attention, and no matter what we put in, make sure it's ADA accessible. Not necessarily have their own private thing that's far away from the other playground. I think that's part of the problem.
Well, and I think, I agree with you. I just also want to make sure that if we do publicize that we acknowledge Lance's son's work.
Oh, yeah.
That was a big deal.
There was something when we built that, or when we had that there, something about surface area that you needed in the rest of the park. That's, if I remember right, where that's at was that old, there was an old secondary bathroom up there.
Yep.
That was taken down, and that was the flat spot that we needed for that units to operate. So, I mean, that was a good spot at that time just because of that, so we took that down and put that there, so.
Or just never.
Yep, oh, yeah, yeah.
We could possibly put a push-button key box on the gate right there. People could call in to get a code to get it, instead of having to drive in and look around for, well, who's gonna have the key to get it? But then we have.
Quite honestly, it's
I-
that fence isn't that tall, they're gonna jump over it anyway.
Is there a reason that it's locked with the key? I mean, by safety
I think
probably, but-
originally they were worried about it being vandalized.
The fence, I don't believe that's necessary to lock. It's the mechanism to operate it. It actually needs a key,
In the back of the swing itself.
because it has to stop so a person can, go down there. There's a better option there. I just gotta study it a little bit better.
And they might have come up with a better option, Liberty Swing Company. I mean, they may have realized that maybe there's a version that they can help us with or something.
In Knoxbox.
Yeah,
But it would be good to include it in the rest of the
Yeah.
playground, because it does look like it's sitting off by itself.
Right, how's that
Either-
inclusive?
Yeah, exactly, either pathways or,
more
just
stuff.
a few more things in that area.
I don't believe there's a sidewalk going to it either, so that could be an issue for some of the wheelchairs.
Yeah.
That's all.
Roger, your turn.
I'm just intrigued by the development of the promenade and kind of wondering if there's gonna be fights 4th of July for space there, but
There better be.
Well, there'll be blankets and chairs down, we'll have to put some rule up.
We can have that seating for nothing. There better be fights.
Yeah, exactly, be like Grand Haven, where they map everything out for a couple days.
People are gonna put their chairs there like a month before.
Exactly.
Margaret, get our chairs.
Exactly.
We're dropping them off.
That it? Okay, Deb.
Just a couple things already have been touched on a little bit with, Dan talked a little bit about the Marina board. I'm on that board, thank you council for putting me there, and it's a group of new members. I don't think any of them except for me have been on it before, and there's a lot of enthusiasm, and I think we have a really good momentum so much so that we added an extra meeting. So it only met 2 times a year before, and now we're gonna try to meet 3 times a year. Lots of good enthusiasm and good recommendations, so it's kind of exciting to be there. And to Brian's point, thank everybody for the volunteers. That's a great sentiment, and I echo that. The second thing was the budget presentation and all of the work. So I just want to say thanks, Dan, for organizing that, putting it together and presenting it, but also to the staff for feeding into that, because I know that's a ton of work. It takes a lot of time and effort. There's a lot of thought that has to go in, not only what's been done in the past, but what's coming down the road. So thank you guys for putting all of that effort into it, and a pretty streamlined process. So kudos to you guys. Thank you.
I do have one more thing. I was listening and looking. We are actually on the Liberty Swing website as a location for the Liberty Swing in the United States of America.
You weren't paying attention to what I was saying.
Oh, yeah. I can multitask. I've been doing that for years. Quiet, Pat, I can hear you talking. No, we're actually in the United States of America, one of probably 20. So it's kind of cool. You can go and say, find a Liberty Swing in Whitehall.
We need to take advantage of that
Yep.
and advertise it, so
Yeah.
better than we are.
There's also a museum.
I just have 2 things, I guess, and one of those is that, does anybody know how much money they raised at the Playhouse last week?
About 24,000-ish.
Is that what they were hoping
That was
for?
just for that night, Thursday night. Yeah, it was more than what they hoped for, so we're happy.
Great. It was a good event. And number 2 is, I'm hoping you guys give me permission. I know that the timing is not good, because next meeting is the approval of the budget. But I would like an excused absence, because I'm gonna be on a vacation that's been scheduled for a year.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Guess who we?
Can I say no?
Guess who gets
You can vote on
the
this one,
Good.
Come and sit back.
All in favor, say yes, please.
Yes.
And beyond that, we go to public comments. Any public comments today? And I'll hold you to 3 minutes.
Oh, I ain't gonna do that. Short one, so. Kim's here, County Commissioner for District 1. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Is it supposed to be on? Okay. I just have a couple of things. Muskegon County Airport, they're up and running, and a lot of the repairs and stuff have been done. The place is looking good, but now they've also got a restaurant in there that is opening, a soft opening, I think, next week. So if you have an opportunity, goes over to the airport and check out the restaurant, see what you think. So, the other item, any of you who use the Minor Park, County Park up there, if you haven't been up there, the Little Flower Creek washed the road out there, big hole there in the road. And so there's no access to the lower part of the park, and there are several houses, I think there's 3 houses up there that usually take that route to get out of the park. So the county put out a request, and we had 4 different people respond for the repairs of that place, and the 3 of them said that because what we were pushing for, we want to get this thing done as soon as possible, and it's a pretty big project, it's a big hole. And a culvert has to be ordered, a 6x9, I believe it's a concrete, or a 6x10 concrete culvert, and that's going to hold it up probably the longest, 2.5 to 3 weeks to get that culvert. So the McCormick Sand is who we awarded the job to, because they said that there's a good possibility they could have it done by Memorial Day. And that was our big push to try to get it done. Because you can't access the lower part at all.
Yeah, something happens, fire apparatus.
Yeah, no emergency vehicles can get back in there, so it needs to be done right away. And I was pretty impressed that, McCormick came through and said, yeah, we'll see what we can do. So, That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else today?
My name is Ron Russell, 33 years. Just wanted to let you know that I walked by the arena this past week and saw that the steel handrails are all up in place, replacing the drivers' laminated wooden ones for one Great Wall. Looks good. My compliments. Very glad it was done. It's going to be a whole lot safer.
Thanks for your comments. Thanks for being on that arena board too. Anyone else? Okay. Old business. None on the agenda. Anybody got anything to say? All right. New business. First item up is resolution 2624 to approve the union contract for public works.
Move to approve the, union contract resolution 2624.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. This will be a roll call vote.
Squires,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Holmstrom,
Yes.
Kavala. Yes. Hildebrand,
Yes.
Mahan,
Yes.
Zemer.
Yes. So resolution 2624 is approved. Next up is resolution 2625, which is a lot split request.
I'll move resolution 2625, lot split request on Almonds Way.
I'll second.
And we've talked about that before. Is any discussion today?
Is there any way to, the ones that, who's buying the 5.0?
Shoreline and Shoreline Marine.
Is there any way to just give them the other 2.49 acres since nobody's interested in it because of its location, to get it back on the tax rolls?
If you're interested, I can give it to Harbor Lake. Because they're actually connected. The problem with this particular lot is there's a pathway that splits the two, and we have an easement for utilities. I think it's sewer that runs through there. So that's why he wasn't interested in purchasing the side that's by Harbor Lake.
I mean, it doesn't appear like there's ever gonna be any interest in it because of that.
Right, I agree.
I just, I mean, yeah.
Because Harbor Light was, like, I floated it to the school district and Harbor Light. Harbor Light was more receptive. But then I got the feeling giving land away wasn't the flavor of the month, so I just tabled it and requested a lot split.
Okay.
I'm agnostic on it. I prefer to get rid of it, but I don't really care. You know.
Bobcat or whatever.
If there's no other discussion, we need a roll call vote.
Holmstrom,
Yes.
Mahan,
Yes.
Hildebrand,
Yes.
Squires,
Yes.
Kavala. Yes. Brown,
Yes.
Zemer.
Yes. Next up, resolution 2626, which is a well pump generator.
I'll move resolution 2626, welcome.
I'll second.
Any discussion on that?
Which one is this down?
2626.
Well 6.
Which is,
On Warner
By
at the
your
water
house?
tower.
oh, by the water.
Yeah. It's our next largest producing well, so it makes more sense to have that one than any of the other ones.
You all set? Do a roll call vote?
Yes. Let's do it. Kavala. Yes. Mahan,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Holmstrom,
Yes.
Squires,
Yes.
Hillebrand,
Yes.
Zeman.
Yes. So 2626 is approved. The next item is the School Resource Officer Memorandum of Understanding.
I would move for the approval of the SRO MOU.
Second.
That was good.
Second.
Any discussion on that?
Very good job, Brian.
Thank you.
Okay. I think we should do that one with the roll call also.
Squires,
Yes.
Hillebrand,
Yes.
Mahan,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Holmstrom,
Yes.
Kavala,
Yes.
Zeman.
Yes. And I'm very happy to see the school paying a little bit more this year. Uh, The park enhancement, is this a resolution or what is this?
No.
I-
So I want to be as transparent as possible. I sent an email to the council members discussing the thought of a dog park. And the discussion was too deliberative, so I said, let's stop this and let's talk about it in open. So with respect to the Open Meetings Act, that's why I wanted to bring this idea to the public, and we can hear what everyone has to say. So that's really it. I'm agnostic on having a dog park or not, but there's a lot of chatter, and we don't get called on people having their dog off leash. We never get called. We have instructed citizens that are concerned to call 911 because we don't have a live watch. We also gave the not emergency number for emergency services, and we still don't get calls. But people go on Facebook and put pictures of people that are having their dog off leash and like publicly shaming, where, like I said, I don't care one way or the other, but I do recognize a need or a desire for people to enter a park and let the dog off leash. Yes, we have leash laws and everyone should be following them. Police have never responded and there be a two-time offender. It's always someone who needs to be educated and we never hear from them again. So it's not, we're trying to be heavy-handed and issue everyone a ticket, but we handle it through education, and it's still social media chatter of just echo chambers of saying, police don't do anything, the city's not responsive, and this is me trying to respond to a larger issue of people coming to Funnel Field, letting their dog off leash, and a neighbor gets upset. So it's really out of just pragmatism that I want to have this discussion. Should we have a dog park where people are allowed to do that? Or should we allow public confrontation? Because I don't think public confrontation is the way to go about it, but I cannot state enough to people that how they need to get emergency services to actually respond. Either 911 or they'll call the non-emergency 911 number. I get refusal or just not doing that, and then people feel comfortable going online and bashing the police department saying they don't respond. But we cannot respond if we're not informed. So that's the reason for why I wanted this on the agenda.
You want to talk about Montague's?
Yeah. So I spoke to the city manager over on Montague, asking if he had concerns or what problems were presented by having a dog park. He said nothing. It's a popular attraction to have a dog park, and he says DPW goes there about 3 times a week to change the garbages. So that's the amount of ongoing operational costs. The Montague experience is minor. The initial cost would be fence and running water to it, if we're gonna offer that. I just wanna solve this problem, so the police department stops getting bashed online, because they don't deserve it.
I was gonna say, I don't really care one way or another about a dog park. I feel that if you put one in, no matter how big you make it, it's not gonna be big enough. Somebody will complain. And I don't know if they end up with dog fights in these dog parks or whatever. I don't know how that stuff works. But,
Get a lot of dogs together, could be
I've got anything.
go ahead.
So I'm an absolute no for a couple of reasons. One, I think there's two separate issues. I think there's a specific issue with dogs on Funnel Field. I don't see that as a citywide issue. I don't see people, trying to let their dogs out a lot of different places. So I think that's kind of a specific. I do think that we should regularly post on Facebook to, the county has a leash law. You have to have your dogs on a leash. I've had dogs for years, and I have had times where I've turned right around because there's a dog on somebody's property and you don't know if they have an electric fence, you don't know if they got out, and I've been chased by dogs, so I'm, there's places that I have kind of avoided in the city when I used to walk my dogs. But I've had a lot of dogs. At one point I had 3 big dogs. Now I have a large, medium, and tiny. But my biggest problem with the dog park is people really don't understand dog impact behavior. For example, if you have dogs in there that often will socialize, you get a new dog, you're going to have some pack behavior. And it's unpredictable. You might think that your dog is a really good dog, never done anything. And then when you have pack behavior, then you have people trying to intervene and can get hurt. My dogs went to the Dog Star Ranch for years, and they were temperament tested. And they tested to see if they could go into the park. It didn't mean that there were never any altercations. I mean, I was there every day for years with my dogs, and sometimes my dogs would, encounter another dog. They didn't quite like each other. One of my dogs went from a puppy to an adult and then attacked every dog that came up to us. So things change. So my biggest thing is that people love their dogs, but I don't think they truly understand the behaviors. You've got big dogs, you have little dogs, so I just think if you look into it, dog experts do not support dog parks. It doesn't mean that you can have a dog park and everything's okay, but I don't want to see somebody get hurt. I don't know if that's helpful or not.
If I may, I'm pro dog park. I've seen numerous dog parks. I've been to numerous dog parks. Manistee has one. Montague has one. Montague hasn't had problem one. I'm of the opinion that it's easier to educate people. So if we don't have a place for them to go, they're going to go. So they go to Funnel Field. They run their dog at Funnel Field. Somebody screams and yells at them. It happens. There's a guy that runs his dog back over here off behind us in Fulcum Park. Give them a place to go. It's easier for the police to educate these people and say, hey, there's a dog park here. Hey, I don't want you skateboarding downtown. There's a skate park over here. Give them something to do. The dog park that I was at, there's a small dog section and a large dog section. I don't know what the breakdown is for poundage or anything else, but that's what they do. The small dog section's a little, the big dog, of course, is bigger because they need more running room, little legs and long legs. Dogs need places to run. I mean, you may lead a dog, but they need places to go. They want to run. A lot of people have city lots that don't have the ability to have the dogs run. And if they want to play, they want to play. Let them go play. I mean, It's fenced.
But we do have parks, we have a lot of land around us that are parks that you can run your dog.
Oh, you can't. You can't run your dog anywhere. It's a leash law. The only place you can run that dog would be in the dog park. You can't run a dog at any park. There's a leash law.
Yeah,
And
but you can use a long lead, which is what I do.
you still can't get a dog.
Yeah, I would just suggest look up what dog experts think about dog.
I have a little bit of input there. Personally, I have a dog. I don't want to take my dog to a dog park simply because I have one of those random, I call it random aggression. All of a sudden, it's like, I don't like you, and it's a terrier, so all bets are off. So I wouldn't want to take my dog simply because I don't want anybody to get hurt. I have a unique experience. I spent the beginning of my career at the Iams Pet Food Company. We worked with a lot of those experts that you're talking about. And I don't really, at that time, dog parks weren't really a thing, and so we didn't really have a lot of discussion. So I wondered, where is that company on that perspective now? So I looked it up, and it turns out they are very supportive of dog parks done right. And they have some grant programs and guidance on pet-friendly cities, because that's really what we're talking about, is how to make people with pets want to be here. So while I'm not going to take my dog, I know that people like it. I have not heard of anything coming from Montague or Muskegon, which is where I know the parks are, of any of those things happening. And it's not to say that it won't or can't, but I think people enjoy them. I think dogs enjoy them. I would be supportive if we do it right. I don't think it's as simple as just slap up a fence and, I think we can look into how they're done and done well and investigate that perspective. I would be supportive. I think it's a good add to the community for pet-friendly city.
I think, I love the idea of doing research and doing it correctly. As someone who coaches at the schools, I'm gonna tell you, the minute somebody gets kicked out on a field, they're running their dog over on a soccer field or something like that, because we found those piles at practice. And so your comment is that, it's kind of wherever there's an open area. So what would be great is to do some research, because Dog Star Ranch is not cheap. It's incredible, love everything about it, but not everybody has the means to necessarily do that or the time. But they might be able to at 7 o'clock at night, when Dog Star is not available, to be able to go over there and use it. So doing it correctly, doing some research and figuring out what would be great over there, we can solve the police problem, we can do it correctly, we can solve the pack problem, we can do all of these things. And we have a place, my daughter's apartment complex took an old tennis court and divided it down the center. They have a small dog, big dog area. My daughter actually goes over and knows a couple of people and plays with the dogs that are there, because it doesn't have the dog that we have in our house now. So there's some other social aspects that could be really cool. But the research and going forward, if it solves that problem, fantastic. A place where people can let their dogs run and not have to worry about ending up on Facebook would be really nice for those of us that tend to avoid a lot of Facebook.
In the meantime, is there a charge to somebody taking your dog over to the Montague Dog Park? That's a cheap solution. But I would just say one last thing. We had some people visiting a few houses down from us on Saturday, and they came in and their dog wasn't leashed, and he ran out and he bit the head of our maintenance over there.
Oh, great.
And that's never a good situation. So anyway.
So what I gave you guys is the proposal. I just did it real quick. I went out and did some locations in town. I think that point over off the funnel field on the backside is really good. There's trees there, provide shade. It's a big area that we could actually put the attachment. The other one is the First Street Beach Dog Park, which is up in Manistee. A lot of that stuff is built with wood up there. There's nothing saying we need to even do that right now, but it would be something somebody could grab a hold of and do plans isn't here anymore, do an Eagle project and put something down there. There's additional layouts there that show you both what you can do, and I mean, we can buy everything for that, but, a lot of the stuff in Manistee was handmade, and you can look at the thank you to who they thanked, and, the dog park rules and the location, and I mean, we'd have to do all that as well. But when you get out of here tonight, if you decide, or sometime take a drive over by the Little League field, there's a spot that's already mowed. I got pictures, I put red, orange lines on there, I think it'd be a good spot. It's out of the way, but it's close enough where somebody, they're parking there and everything else, so I think it would be a good spot.
And they have grants.
There are grants available, yeah.
Grants, and, you know, we've got a lot of big companies in Whitehall still that we've done a lot with that might provide a grant. I mean, Harbor Lights were good about it, Helmet, Highlight, so.
We could give Harbor Light that 2 acres and make it.
Dog park right there.
Yeah, there you go.
Here we go.
I'm gonna throw my 2 cents in. I'm not really for dog parks. I love dogs, I got a dog of my own, but I got a double lot. My dog gets to run around all at once. It's all fenced in, so I think that there is enough controversy on the subject to where I don't think the 7 of us should be deciding whether there should be a dog park in the city or not. I think it should be up to the people, and I think it should be something that the people should vote on. That's the way I feel about it.
But doesn't it fit into our main goal, which was for beautification and usability of everything? And not everybody has a double lot, which would be phenomenal to be able to do. So it's not, we're just making a part of a park that is already there. We're not creating a new park.
I'm just stating my opinion.
No, I'm
My
just- I'm
opinion is
asking
my
a question.
opinion, your opinion is your opinion. I'm not for dog parks.
Cool.
Sure. What issues other than citizen complaints have we had? Has there been a dog on dog fight? Has there been a dog on human fight involved with people using the phone field the way they do?
No, I probably want to get a single call without one of the neighbors on phone. Allison from one person.
I guess we're trying to give an answer to a question that hasn't been answered.
I haven't received any, there's been no reports that I know of. Randy, correct me if I'm wrong, is he still here?
Yes, sorry.
I haven't heard of any dog on dog or even a human getting bit. Tommy gave me the one story of a lady over there who didn't report it, but reports don't come to us. And like, we hear about it later via Facebook. It's just not the right mechanism.
But at the
Did she
same
come-
time, the topic of the dog park in the city has been just kind of in, realm of discussion for a long time. I mean, I know it's not a new subject. I have a lot of people talk to me about they want a dog park. I mean, it's not.
It's not a quiet or a small.
The impetus of the discussion tonight is an unfortunate
Like
situation.
mild irritation.
That we could, but the fact that the subject is on the table is not a new one. It's been tossed around for quite some time.
It wouldn't hurt to just watch movies and see how that happens. I've just,
He spoke about that. Montague's had no problems and
they haven't
well
had
used.
that.
How long has it been open?
It's been there a year.
They're gonna stay there.
Yeah, that's not that long. Not for
So
things
how
to happen.
long do we wait before we do it and we get good data off them?
Do we need one? Do we need to have everything that,
It's one of the, like Deb said, it's one of the things I hear I don't hear a lot from a lot of people, but I hear a lot about that.
see,
I hear a lot about that. I hear a lot about skate park stuff for the kids that are middle-aged that have nothing to do. But again, it goes back to the things we set in the goals about. We want to create a destination. We want people to have amenities and stuff to do. That's just another amenity, and it's actually pretty reasonable. It's fencing. We already own the property. There's nothing else we got to do other than fence it in and maybe put a water line.
I would ask, are we consult some experts. I mean, I know we have Montague's reference, which sounds like it's pretty straightforward and simple, but for sustainability and longevity and maintenance and all of that kind of stuff, I would like to see some input from outside.
Yeah, so we call Manistee or somebody can call Manistee and see how theirs is operation and how that works and issues they've had. I mean, who else has got a mosquito, like you said, has got at least one. I mean,
I think research would be good, and I have some specific experiences where, don't be shaking your head.
I ain't shaking my head. I'm just sitting here listening, taking it all in.
I'm seeing you. But no, I don't think anybody here knows there was a time out at Old Channel, by Old Channel Inn, where a big dog killed a little dog. And I've been chased.
At a dog park?
No, just.
No, but what I'm trying to say is that these are animals. A lot of times people have them and they don't have training, and it's okay, but when you're with other dogs, it's a whole different story. I mean, I was at the dog store for years, and actually it really was cheap considering you could use it the entire day up until the evening, every single day for that cost, to be able to run your dogs there. It was, I went there every day for years, and when you go by day, But then the other thing is that I'm very cautious with my dogs when my dogs meet other dogs. I think that pack behavior, I think, is the biggest thing that I'm concerned about, where something unpredictable will happen, or you think your dog is not aggressive, right? So anyway, I'd be happy to research it. It's not something anybody has ever told me they want. I mean, you can be pet friendly I see a lot of communities where, pets are just walking with them on a leash and they sit like at an outdoor place and eat and things like that, so there's different ways of being pet friendly.
All right, I think it's supported enough for me to do some heavy research on it. What I didn't want to do is do a bunch of research and nobody even be supported in the first place. I got 1 yes, 2 no, 2 yes with research. So
Pretty even split. It's a hard subject, I guess.
right, it's not clean. I'm not happy about it. I just people are going to Funnel Field and running their dogs regardless. So I'd rather that they be fenced in just for the same reasons you're saying you don't want it. That's why I want it, because dogs are wild animals and they need to be fences.
What happens at Funnel Field? Softball, football, soccer, all kids. And you let a dog run and there's a kid running down the bases, I mean, the potential's there, it's always there. If you got a spot again where you can send them, yeah, no, go over here and go in the fenced in area, then that, unless
If they're not supposed to be off leash, then they should be allowed there. I mean, if we know that regularly dogs are being unleashed there, then I think that is something for us, we need to enforce the leash law.
But we patrol there on a regular basis. They even put in their logs to make sure that whenever somebody complains saying it's not patrolled, every point say, look, I patrolled it on this minute, this minute, and this minute. And we don't get called when people have a problem. That's the main issue, I think, is that we don't get called, and we've never had 2 offenders. That's.
Then it doesn't seem like it's happening that much. If you're patrolling over there and you're not seeing dogs off leash.
Just like anything, like it's only going to happen when you're not looking.
It doesn't sound like a big problem. I mean, if you're patrolling regularly and you don't see it, so I mean, what is it? Are there dogs there all the time, or there, dogs not there?
Like I said, there's one sensor telling us that there's wild animals running afoot constantly in a pack.
If there's pictures of it, anyway,
But,
I'm
okay,
trying to.
yes, there's pictures after the fact. And then people feel comfortable bashing our police department because they don't respond. We were never notified. That's why I wanted this subject brought up and actually spoken about because we don't hear about it real time. But people are very comfortable bashing the police department, saying they do nothing.
I think there's several issues there that are not necessarily related to the overall topic of the dog park. It just seems like there's a specific issue going on, and I'd rather not make a decision based on whatever is reported to be happening.
Right, but it's, like Debbie said, it's not a one-off.
Exactly, I agree with that. I don't have a problem with research. I know, I will try to keep an open mind. I just know dogs.
Let me make a suggestion that we let Dan research it a little bit, and anybody else that wants to research it. One of the things I would look at is there any, if we have a dog park, is there any liability should somebody get bitten there or somebody's dog get killed? Beyond that, let's table it for now.
Only we have lawyer. Yeah, the cities, you put some rules up, and the city's not gonna have much exposure on that at all.
Can we close it? Let's have public comment.
Sorry, I know it's getting late. And I'm new here, so Nancy Yeager, 914 South Lake Street. I just had 3 things I wanted to ask if you guys are aware of, and something that I'm a little bit concerned about. There is a sinkhole up in the property where the duplexes are, on that berm or whatever you want to call it on South Lake Street. I know that it looks like the Department of Public Works may have put cones, or someone did, but whenever it rains really hard, it's like a waterfall coming down on the street there. Are you guys aware of that?
Talking about,
I don't know who I'm
exactly.
are you talking about Mears?
No, South Lake,
Street, where Jassek's.
in front of Tannery Bay.
Oh.
It's
I
you know where
gotcha.
those duplexes are up on the hill there? Well, one of them, I noticed in one of those heavy storms, it's a large sinkhole, like a child could maybe fall in it. I don't know how deep it is because I haven't hiked up there. But I have noticed that every time it rains, it's like a waterfall coming down. But I feel like maybe Department of Public Works has been there because there's orange cones. Somebody's put orange cones there. And it kind of comes down onto South Lake and tries to run to
Yeah,
the drain.
it's private property right there, so we
Is
don't have
that
any
berm
rights.
private property? That's what I wanted to know too.
That road is private, or the hillside
hill?
there is private property, and there is a pretty good underground spring that comes out of the side of that.
Oh.
And it's, if you look, the hill itself is actually starting to push out a little bit also. So we cleaned some of the debris that washes onto our road up.
So it's their responsibility for figuring out that whole sinkhole thing?
It would be up to the property owner to take care of the sinkhole itself.
Okay.
The water side of things, there's gonna have to be some kind of engineering that gets involved there to figure out.
But you guys
how
are
to
aware
fix
of all that then,
it.
right?
We are, yeah, it's been doing that
Okay.
for years.
Okay, what's
Okay,
next?
okay, number 2, we talked about the tree, that kind of answers my question, because there's a dead tree on that berm too, that I think is gonna end up taking out the, street light wires that go across there. And I've already had consumers come out once, because I stay here during the winters, and I had those street light fixed at one point in time, because they were out, but I do think it was due to another tree that has since been taken out, and it was on personal property. And then the third thing, I'm trying to go fast. The third thing is, just recently, in front of the empty lot next door to me, on 914, there was construction people there for Tannery Bay, and you guys are probably aware of this too. But a machine kind of like exploded and oil went everywhere. I think it's oil, I don't even know what it is, but there's a huge spill on South Lake Street, on the bricks, and then right in front of my house, right where you want to get out of your car, there's like, somebody drove through it and there's tire, like they carried it other places. I don't know if it's been remediated, and if it has, I also kind of want to know if it's toxic, because I do take my dog out there, so.
Broken hydraulic line.
Well, they hauled the machine away, and then the truck that hauled it away, the one behind it, drove through all the stuff and then carried and made a mess out of things, so.
Who was the construction?
That was the thing, we tried to look on our Ring camera, and we can't figure out who they are. It wasn't marked, so.
Are they working
Somebody from,
Are they working on Tannery Bay down there? Is that what?
Yeah,
they
it
should
was
be
one
able
of
to-
Yeah, they
those,
should be able
I
to.
don't know what the thing was even for, so.
I meet with Tannery Bay Construction on Thursday. I can bring up
Well, I think they tried to clean it up by putting that dry stuff down or whatever it is, but it looks like a mess. And I just like to know if it's toxic because I do take my dog out there. So,
Thanks for mentioning it, I hadn't noticed.
okay. And I'm kind of like pro dog park if it's researched really well. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And with that, I think we can, anybody else needing to talk tonight? I think we're